if hell is any less hot than it is right now, I would welcome it with open arms. Yeah. Welcome back to Welcome Back Wrestling. As always, I am Izzy McCoy.
I'm DJ Matrix.
I think we were supposed to say thanks for coming back. We hope you all had a safe day, but I don't really care.
We'll do it again.
Because no, don't do it again. I'm melting.
One take, Jake.
Yes, I'm fucking hot. Alright, we're from Brooklyn, New York, if you haven't noticed.
We're in the middle of a heat wave right now.
Apparently, it's 99,000 degrees outside. It is really hot.
It's hella ignorant. And since we're recording in a basement with no AC, we also can't use any fans because you guys can hear that.
And it mess up the audio. So we love y'all so much, and we love y'all ears, and respect your listening to this show that we turned the fan off. And now I have to say that I hate y'all.
Yeah. I'm about to splash some water on my face, Flashdance style. It's really.
Who was that actress?
Oh, Jennifer.
That wasn't Lopez.
No. Oh, no. Jennifer. I'll get her name.
Yes. So.
Jennifer Grey.
There you go. So, how was your week?
Hot. I just installed a new AC, so I'd rather be there than here.
My week was awesome. We should actually say how was our last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We took a 2-week break.
Yeah.
Which was, I think it was like a 1 week break that felt really good, so we extended it to 2 weeks.
It worked real well. Too well.
I got a new iMac, and it was awesome.
I have a broken laptop.
What new computer would you get if you replaced your laptop?
Probably a Dell XPS, one of those joints. Mm-hmm. They're really dope.
Oh, you wouldn't want to like opt to build one or something?
No, I'm not building a laptop. I'm not even building a PC.
Because I'm not going to do any of that.
I could do it and it'll be fun or whatever for people who like that stuff, but
not for me.
No, I'm not that guy.
Oh man, it's been a jam-packed 2 weeks in the wrestling world.
Yep.
So I'm happy to report that I think without a doubt WWE still sucks.
It's a lot of stuff going on in the world of WWE, which we'll get to.
They had an eye for an eye match. That's all I want to say. They had an eye for an eye match.
So this week we're gonna tackle a few topics, including Fight for the Fallen. I know it was a couple weeks ago, but we weren't here to talk about it, so we'll talk about it for a little bit. We had the Cody match with Sunny Kiss, great FTR match. Yeah, a lot of great stuff in there.
FTR is proving that they should have been treated way better than WWE.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think over the next couple of months we're gonna see a lot of guys
prove them wrong. Yeah.
Prove you should have used me when we had crowds, right?
Right. Speaking of guys who are a little underutilized, Evil in New Japan this past weekend, he actually turned on his friend Naito and LIJ and joined the Bullet Club and then beat Naito for both the IWGP and the Intercontinental Championships.
I always felt like if you're gonna pull the trigger on somebody, make them turn on somebody, you gotta take the belts from them too.
Yep.
Because it makes no sense. Like in WWE, somebody will turn on somebody, become a heel, and lose.
Doesn't make any sense.
Be like, I don't care about you no more now.
With more news going all over the world, Impact Wrestling this past weekend they had their Slammiversary event where a bunch of old faces, a couple of new faces joined the Impact roster. We'll talk about that.
Yep, I don't want to spoil it for people that don't know, so we'll save it for that topic. But my guys is back.
Right. Lastly, we'll talk about Extreme Rules, the horror show that happened this past Sunday. It was a mixed bag. There's a lot to get into. But first, during these times, we're seeing the ratings for pretty much all companies dwindle.
AEW.
Well, AEW included. Not to the...
Well, they fell like 2%.
Right. Anyway, with the fall of those numbers, those ratings, once the crowd comes back, will the ratings come back?
I don't think so for WWE. I don't think WWE's drop in ratings is due to COVID. And I don't believe anybody's ratings drops is due to COVID. nigga, we all inside. We're watching TV. We have nothing to do. People literally had nothing to do for 3 weeks. People are starting to go back to work now.
Right.
Stuff is starting to get a little bit normal.
Right.
But other than that,
but there's still no like movie theaters to go to or parties like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, bro, all you have to do is put on your best foot forward, not have matches.
What's crazy is
watch it.
You're only competing with shows that I can watch at any time I want to. Like I can binge Netflix anytime I want. I could pause it and then go to wrestling and then pause and then play it again afterwards.
Your competition is basically something you can put on pause. Yeah. People would rather watch that shit than watch you. It has nothing to. Okay, now I'm not gonna say it has nothing to do with COVID. It has a little bit to do with COVID, but not in the dramatic rate at which this dropped. You was getting like a 2.5. Now you're getting a 1.6.
Yeah,
that's not COVID.
And I mean, I really fear that these numbers don't go back up because I'm forgetting when their deal is up. I know they just signed a deal this past year.
Yeah, the Fox deal, right?
The Fox and the USA deal, and
gave you
those numbers are based on numbers that are way higher than this. So I don't know. There might be a lot of people out of work, and I really hope Vince doesn't WCW this time. It's looking like it.
It definitely is. But that brings us to our first break.
Yeah, so we're back. I know that was no time at all, but we're back.
We're sponsored by Nantucket.
Yeah, we were gone for about a half hour. Sorry about that. Anyway. Yeah, when
such a blatant lie. we are not sponsored by anybody. Please help us.
Please.
The cost of this show is enormous.
Anyway, when crowds do come back, a lot of people might just be over it. Like by the time like things start ramping up, because they got into other things during quarantine, and they're just gonna stick with that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like it behooves you. Yes, word of the day, behooves. Meaning, I don't really know.
It rhymes with boobs.
It behooves anybody who is creating content right now to make sure you're making the best content, because this is a hook season. This is the best opportunity for anybody creating content to hook people in, and WWE is just not doing it. AEW is. I think AEW is. I think the television ratings don't reflect the growth that company is probably actually doing, because people are probably so accustomed to streaming stuff that they're probably like streaming.
I think a lot of people are streaming. I think a lot of people are watching the news now more so than ever, because you still got Corona going on. You still got racial unrest in America. Presidential election is coming up, so those things are ramping up. So there's a lot of reasons.
Kanye went crazy again.
Kanye went.
Actually, at this point, it's just Kanye going Kanye.
Yeah. We're here for
you. To kill my
We're
kid.
Here for you, Kanye.
I tried to kill my child.
We don't have a private jet to go see him, but we're here for you, Kanye.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't fly up. I'm scared. I'm pretty sure he'll probably try to kill me in my sleep.
So next up, I know it happened a couple weeks ago, but Fight for the Fallen was the second consecutive special show from AEW. Literally a week right after Fyter Fest, but it was a pretty decent show. I don't think it was necessarily like a pay-per-view level show. I think it was more like it was like an in-between of a Dynamite and a pay-per-view. So it was a little bit more special than a Dynamite, but not really. It was kind of like what In Your House was back in the day.
Yeah, it was like, yo, this ain't Royal Rumble, but this is better than Raw. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And you can't be mad because you didn't pay for it.
And I think Fight for the Fallen was I did like the show though.
Yeah.
I did like the Cody versus Sonny Kiss match.
Yeah.
I thought Sonny Kiss showed. I don't know if I said her or him.
They, him.
Him, they.
I mean,
I want to be as respectful as possible. I'm not trying to make jokes.
According to Jim Ross, he prescribes to either one. Doesn't matter. You can say he or she. Doesn't matter.
I'll just say Sonny Kiss.
Yeah, there you go.
Just stay politically correct. Sonny Kiss is amazing. I like the work that Sonny Kiss does. I think he or she, whatever we want to refer to her as, really showed herself in this match, and it was a really solid match. There was some moves that Sonny Kiss pulled off that I just thought was very good, very unique.
Yeah.
And it's not like throwing the transgender or whatever the
right. It's not throwing it in your face. Or making it the discussion. It's not the discussion.
Sonny Kiss was just Sonny Kiss.
Right.
You want she was or he was exactly what they are,
Right.
and it was amazing. This is very complicated to say.
It's okay.
But I'm just saying.
We're two 30-something guys in Brooklyn.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
We're trying our best.
Yeah. I don't discriminate.
I like this ongoing...
I regulate every shade of that.
I like this ongoing story with Cody that it's starting to wear on him that he's defending the championship every week. Mm-hmm. So every week it's getting harder. Like every match is getting... Because it's not like he's facing awful competition every week. Like he's Ricky Starks one week or Jungle Boy,
Ricky Starks, Sonny Kiss, Jack Swagger,
Jake Hager.
Jake Hager,
right?
Jack Swagger.
So Jake,
a name that will live in infamy.
So it's every week. Like he even had a tough time here with Sonny Kiss because most people would say, "Oh yeah, of course he's gonna be Sonny Kiss," but it didn't look easy. He didn't make it look easy. Other matches on the show included FTR defeating the Lucha Bros.
Hold on, before we get to that match,
right?
I just want to say this. That's the difference with AEW. Mm-hmm. AEW can be funny with the Orange Cassidys. Mm-hmm. They could be goofy. Chris Jericho could be goofy and stuff like that. But they put so much emphasis on making the product look like a sports event. Yeah. That you're right. Cody every match is getting tired from defending every night.
It's wearing on them.
And if you understand that wrestling is a narrative, that means he's I don't want to say pretending, but that's the storyline that he's putting together. WWE never does that shit. No. He's be having a hellacious Extreme Rules match one night and come back and be like, "Hello, I'm way better." And
I'm surprised.
Don't give a fuck that I went through 7 chairs and 7 ladders last night.
I'm surprised, spoiler alert, that Rey Mysterio didn't come back and jump around
and totally act like his eyeball didn't fall out of the socket.
Anyway, other matches on that card included FTR defeating Lucha Brothers, which was a pretty decent match. It was their win back from that ridiculous 8-man tag from Fyter Fest. The Elite defeated Jurassic Express. The main key to this was after the match, Kenny Omega mounted Marco Stunt and started punching him, which is weird. Looks like he's teasing a heel turn. They followed up on this on being the Elite,
which I had totally stopped watching because I thought it was going to stop. But they continue to make episodes,
and it's not bad.
Good.
It's pretty funny.
The Dark Order stuff is hilarious. Yeah. How do you make papers scary?
A lot of papers.
Papers.
The last 2 matches were the Nightmare Sisters defeating 2 Jobber Girls. It was 2 minutes. It was just to get their storyline over a little bit more. And then the final match was the FTW champion versus the AEW champion Jon Moxley. Great match between the two. Went 15 minutes. Ended with Jon Moxley putting Brian Cage in submission. I believe Brian Cage just passed out. Right? He didn't.
No. I'm Taz.
He did in the white towel. He did in the white towel
because he didn't want his arm to get. It was the same arm that he had injured.
Right.
So he didn't want it to get injured.
Which was a great finish. And after the match, we had Darby Allin come out and try to get some revenge on Brian Cage for what he did to him during Fyter Fest. Mm-hmm. Yeah, first week of Fyter Fest.
I think that this is a great way to get Brian Cage away from Jon Moxley, get in a feud with Darby Allin, and then bring him back. You know what I'm saying? To Moxley, because Brian Cage is clearly a future World Heavyweight Champion.
Yes.
But Moxley right now is his time.
All right. So we go with the current AEW champion, and is he still the U.S. The New Japan U.S. champion?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He might still be...
Bro, I have no idea.
The U.S. champion for New Japan. I'm not sure. We'll check on that. You could check us on that. It's fine. But, yeah, his other company he works for, New Japan...
Because the world of mini belts, as I call New Japan, only seems to have one right now. And that's the unified heavyweight championship and Intercontinental Championship. Which is owned by...
Evil. Yeah, you heard right. Former now LIJ Lieutenant
Los Ingonables
de Japón.
Yes.
He turned on his former boss right before the match. He won the New Japan Cup, which entitled him to a title match. And he turned on his former boss,
which is Tetsuya Naito.
Tetsuya Naito.
Tetsuya.
Sure.
Tetris Naito?
He's joined the Bullet Club now. it's just the Japanese locals in the Bullet Club, it seems, right now, just because there's travel bans, so there's no actual like stateside wrestlers in Japan. It's only Japanese natives. So the following night, after turning on Naito, he ended up taking the championship from him, and looks like he's a de facto leader for the Bullet Club now.
Yeah, which is crazy. All because of COVID-19, the Bullet Club is now all Japanese people. Which I'm not saying is a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just that, Bullet Club was historically foreigners.
Right. It started out with basically all foreigners. It was, Fergal Devitt or Prince Devitt and Carl Anderson.
Fergal is a f***ing shit of a name.
Shout out to Finn Balor.
Fergal sounds like something you do in the toilet. Like, I'm about to go take a Fergal.
Anyway.
He got a bad wife or whatever, girlfriend, whatever. Have you seen Finn Balor's girlfriend?
Oh yeah, she's Mexican. She works for I think Fox Sports Mexico, something like that. Yeah.
My God, that baby's gonna be amazing. That baby's gonna look good.
Yeah, he did well for himself.
Finn Balor.
Yeah,
that baby's gonna come out with abs. That baby's gonna look like all the Photoshop people in 300.
And what? He's Irish. No, he speaks English, but they speak Gaelic, right?
Gaelic, yeah.
Yeah, I
and
remember.
She speaks Mexican.
I remember in school.
So that baby somehow is going to be Dominican.
Yeah, that makes sense. I remember in school, kids were super homophobes, so they used to. It's like, they thought you were gay. It's like, you speak Gaelic.
Gaelic.
Not knowing it's an actual, it's a real language. It was like, no, they just thought this is a language that gay people speak.
Is it Gaelic or is it Celtic? No, Celtic is like, I don't know.
Yeah, we gotta go to Ireland, fam.
I guess. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Get some fish and some chips.
I'm allergic to fish, so I'll just get some fish.
You're allergic to fish?
Yeah. Yeah, I can't eat fish.
That's wild.
Atal. Anyway. From the new addition to the Bullet Club, we have brand new additions to Impact Wrestling this past weekend. They had their Slammiversary event with the re-debuts of a few familiar faces there.
My man's Eric Young.
Mm-hmm.
I love Eric Young. Yeah. EY. The reason why I like Eric Young is because I feel like he's the ultimate utility player. When you use him right, people are going to want to see him be a world champion.
He's a great goofy face, or he's a great like serial killer, crazy person, bad guy.
Yeah, he could be anything.
Yeah,
he's a great addition to your roster, and not to beat a dead horse dead.
So another guy
WWE didn't shit with.
No,
gave him a good group, Insanity, and then did nothing.
Once they got to the main roster, they were completely lost.
Yes, completely dead.
All right, so here's the full list. First time ever, Heath Slater is now currently in Impact.
The free agent.
Heath Slater, he reunites with Rhino, who's also in Impact. Eric Young has come back.
Yep.
He slotted himself into the 5-way main event for the Impact World Championship, the then vacant due to Tessa Blanchard being fired.
Because she's racist.
We had the re-debut of the Motor City Machine Guns, one of Impact's best tag teams ever.
And what's the other one? Alex Shelley.
Yeah, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin.
First of all, I love their work.
Yeah.
When I used to watch TNA like regularly,
right,
the Motor City Machine Guns was one of the staple reasons why I watched it, along with AJ Styles, Samoa Joe,
Chris Daniels,
Kurt Angle, Kazarian, low key who I liked.
Yeah, and then he turned into a crazy person.
Yeah.
Anyway, Gallows and Anderson. Well, this is Anderson's first time in Impact, but Gallows was there. He was in.
That's because Gallows was everywhere.
He was in the Aces and Eights. He was in the Aces and Eights as the DOC, I believe.
This was like right after he left as Festus.
Yeah.
So like when you really look at it, the only place that Gallows and Anderson has gone, where Anderson was the first person there, was New Japan.
That was it, yeah, basically.
Because
Ring of Honor, I mean, that's due to the New Japan deal. Which, that's another thing. I think New Japan, they're really missing a boat. I understand they have loyalty to Ring of Honor, but if they had a working partnership with AEW, they would take over WWE. That combination could take it over.
Bro, I'm not even gonna lie. I think all of them need to join together.
Join for it like a Megazord.
Yeah, they need to create like a new actual NWA, not the NWA show that we have now, but I'm talking about an actual NWA, right? They need to all run separate shows, but then they need
talent exchange.
They need to have, and which would behoove the NWA because they don't have a fucking show right now because of COVID. Right. But you can basically be like, oh, the NWA champion, he's the traveling champion. He goes to every show, but every show has their own champion. Or because AEW would clearly be in the power position, make the AEW championship the traveling championship and put fucking WWE.
Because John Moxley already goes to New Japan.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And AEW already gives you guys these contracts. Gallows and Anderson, speaking of them, was supposed to get a contract which was going to have them sharing time between Japan and AEW.
Well, their current contract has them open to Impact and New Japan.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, so they'll be able to go to New Japan if they like or when they like or whatever.
But see, that's my thing. If you let go to New Japan, right?
Yeah.
You guys, Impact needs to call AEW and be like, hey,
let's work something out. Yeah.
Let's work something out. And then if I was Ring of Honor and I see that happening, and I also have a working relationship with New Japan, I'll be like, I have to join.
Because Ring of Honor currently has $0.
Yeah.
No one's talking about Ring of Honor.
No.
And they have a lot of good wrestlers there. Marty Scurll, Bandito, there's a few guys there that are really, really good. They just have zero buzz.
That whole everybody getting raped thing really f***ed them up.
Yeah,
there was a lot of their roster. There was a lot of their roster. Because it was Ring of Honor and then there was a bunch of people in England.
UK, yeah.
Yeah, UK, which no one cares about.
So, yeah, we had Gallows and Anderson, and we had the returning of Trouble, EC3.
The narrative.
He's breaking the narrative.
I ain't gonna lie, I watched that narrative video. Yeah. It was trash. Yeah. I didn't like it.
I got the idea. The main idea was good. The execution, not a big fan.
Yeah, it was very poor. Yeah. I as a filmmaker, I hate when I see, because you pointed it out. You was like, oh, this is 60 frames? Why would you do that? Like, when you're going for the cinema look.
But the lighting was for like a 24,
Yeah, and when you're going for a cinema look, you're going to go 24 frames per second.
Right. Or 23 or whatever.
Yeah, 23.93, whatever the fuck that is. I'm a filmmaker and I still don't understand. But 60 frames per second, I'm looking at it like, why would you do this? Yeah. You're not doing, because 60 frames per second, this is Isaiah on Film Corner. Who do you think out of this list of Heath Slater, Eric Young, Motor City Machine Guns, Gallows Anderson, and EC3 will have the biggest impact in Impact?
I think the guy who's going to have the biggest impact is EC3. I think Motor City Machine Guns, they are who they are. They can't really progress past what they are. I mean, they have a certain, gravitas. I think the same thing with Gallows and Anderson. I think those two teams will help the tag team division. Eric Young is another guy who's just, at this point, he's not moving the needle. He's very, very good. Same thing with Heath Slater. So it has to be EC3, and it looks like it's EC3 and his new character. What do you think?
I kind of agree. I think EC3 will probably make he's going to go into the title picture immediately.
Yeah.
You could try to shake some shit up and make Heath Slater a big deal.
See, the problem with that, you had the same situation where when Christian came over,
because it was never a big deal over here.
Right, and it kind of weakens everything. Like, the only way you can do that, you have to really build him up properly. Like, he's training and he has a new trainer, or he's doing new things, or he's figured out a new system or something like that to change his character up. Because right now he's basically the same Heath Slater character. So
I feel like there's a little edge to it.
Heath Slater?
There's a little bit of
the one-man band.
I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt here, bro. I do feel like since he got fired, I think there's something that I see in his eyes.
Yeah, he had a great promo on Raw a couple weeks ago.
That looks like he's like, oh, I could get fired.
Yeah.
I think for a long time, Heath Slater in his mind was like, I'm never fired.
And they finally pulled the trigger.
I feel like that guy right now in WWE who's never going to get fired is Tyler Breeze. Because I think Tyler Breeze has befriended everybody to a point where they will fight to keep him.
I don't know if anyone has seen this burn that he put on The Miz. It was so epic.
Oh, when he told him, he said he's going to be a
basically evil. It was an episode of Up, Up, Down, Down. Obviously a social distanced episode. Everybody's on the webcam. So I believe you had
pretty much a normal episode of Up, Down, Down.
Yeah, because sometimes they would have in the backstage they'll just play video games or whatever. But now it's like everybody's home basically. So you had Adam Cole, you had Cesaro, you had Samoa Joe, Tyler Breeze, The Miz, and of course the host Xavier Woods. And The Miz and Breeze had an issue for whatever reason. So The Miz just finished telling off Breeze, and then Breeze
casually, casually, like there was no. He
was waiting.
Yeah, he was like, I got something for that.
So as soon as Miz is done, Breeze now comes to the mic. He makes sure he gets close to the mic so everybody can hear what he says. It's like, Miz, you're gonna be in the sequel to See No Evil, See No Talent.
Everybody started dying, son. Xavier Woods ended up on the floor.
Adam Cole put a neck brace on for some reason.
And what makes it funny is because The Miz had just went on this epic rant.
Yeah.
And he just casually said, yo, I heard you're going to be in the See No Evil. It's called See No Talent. Burn.
Anyway.
It's done.
So those were the former WWE employees that are currently at Impact. But let's just talk about current WWE product.
For our main topic, which is going to be Extreme Rules, the Horror Show.
And it was exactly that.
It was trash.
Well, I think it was.
No, it wasn't trash.
It was a mixed bag.
It wasn't trash.
Yeah.
We'll go through it step by step to let you know, and then we'll rate this show.
So the pre-show started with Kevin Owens defeating Buddy Murphy. A part of that whole Kevin Owens.
First
Seth
of all,
Rollins.
I don't know why you're having pre-shows in this world that we're living in.
Yeah.
Just make everything a part of the regular show, and just do it because we're gonna watch it.
So so Kevin Owens
retarded
defeated Buddy Murphy to, I guess, prolong the Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins feud, which has been going on for, I feel like, 2 years now. So the actual show opened up with the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championship tables match between Cesaro and Shinsuke and the champions, the New Day.
Which I honestly think this match was amazing. Yeah, I like this match. It was dope. And do you have any notes before I get to the finals?
Kofi had some dope Air Jordan 1s on, but other than that, he needed them after the match because
he almost got power bombed out of them.
Yeah,
because he tries to set Cesaro up for what looked like a Hurricane Rana, right?
Through tables,
through the tables, which would have been epic,
right?
But Cesaro's too strong.
Yeah,
and
he held him
up there, and then Shinsuke gets up like a cat, kicked that nigga right in the chest. that bare no chest that
he
Kofi
came out of nowhere, just kicked him in his face.
Wow, son, he's done.
Lifted him up, and
he grabbed his arms. Mm-hmm. Cesaro grabbed his arms, and
crossed him over.
What's that? Like they do
crucifix,
like cross hold type deal, and he just power bombed this man
through two tables, stacked
through life,
stacked two tables, not side by side.
If 2020 was a movie, it would be this. Yeah, that was devastating.
It was kind of amazing.
Kofi looked dead.
So we have new WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions. We'll see where they go from here.
Shinsuke and Cesaro sold that shit like they just won the fucking lotto.
Yeah, those are two guys we were talking about earlier. I mean, they're very professional guys, so they'll take what they can get and they'll make it as good as they can make it.
We're also talking about how I truly believe Shinsuke Nakamura is retired. What we are watching right now is a man who's resigned to collecting that check and being like, I did what I had to do. My legacy is cemented.
Go check
my legacy up.
Go check New Japan World.
Yeah, when I step back in Japan, I'm a legend. Like, you know what I'm saying? When I'm over here, I'm surfing and I'm having a good time.
Yeah, I'm doing 5-minute matches.
Yeah, you guys are paying me 6 figures to eat this food, do 5-minute matches, and knee a nigga in the head. I'll take that.
Thank you. The next match.
Retired.
Next match involved Bayley retaining her Women's SmackDown Championship against Nikki Cross, which is prolonging Nikki Cross's losing streak, which is a storyline that's keep going.
That's an actual storyline?
Yeah, that she's on losing streak.
Oh, they're promoting that.
Not necessarily promoting it, but it is a thing.
Oh, okay. Who's somebody also who I feel like gets treated like absolute dog.
You're right.
I feel like Nikki Cross should have been a champion.
Yeah,
at least if it was like transitional.
But yeah, Bayley continues her run with Sasha.
And that's nothing against Bayley. I like this run.
Yeah, it's just a good run, which we'll get to further in a little bit. The next, well, it wasn't a match, but it was supposed to be MVP versus Apollo Crews for the U.S. Championship. Basically, Apollo Crews' old championship belt versus MVP's new and improved U.S. Championship belt.
Which looks fucking fire. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I love the look.
Yeah, the new one. I wish they would have put blue where the stars are.
Yeah. It needed a little more color to make it pop.
Yeah, I think that would have been the final piece.
Yeah,
put a little bit of blue where the stars are. It'd have popped. It'd have had that feel of the old one, but it looks like a champ. Because the old United States belt, it looked good when it debuted, but now it's starting to look like a toy.
Right, because it's so small, and it's like it doesn't fit today's belts.
Well, yeah, because when it was around with the other belts,
right.
the old Intercontinental belt, the oval one,
they're around the same ones.
Yeah, the old undisputed WWE Championship, the old Tag Team Championships, all that, they look a little bit smaller, and it fit. That United States Championship did need to be updated. Even though I did like the design, I like the design, but now around the massive looking belts that we have now, it looked like a toy.
Yeah. So it was a change for the better. But yeah, this match didn't occur because apparently Apollo Crews has contracted COVID, and he hasn't.
19.
I guess they had high hopes for him recovering in time for this match
but it didn't happen.
It didn't.
Because of COVID-19.
So MVP decided to declare himself U.S. champion.
U.S. champion.
But he is not recognized as U.S. champion, but he has the belt, which seems to be
something that WWE is doing now, which we will talk about
in a couple matches.
Yes, because it. You can just say I'm gonna show up on WWE TV
just take a belt.
And say I'm gonna just steal the 24/7 championship from Shelton Benjamin and just declare myself the 24/7 championship. But for this storyline, I did actually like what happened.
Yeah, it was fun.
Because you have to do this.
Right.
Because the actual United States champion is
not available, right?
He's not available. And then you can have a unification of an interim championship, essentially.
Right.
And the actual world championship. We're going to get that match down the line.
Which I think MVP might, because that championship looks good on him.
Yeah.
He was like he's looking good for, he's been in the game for a while.
Dude, his name is Montavious Porter.
And it looks like they might be starting a new Nation of Domination stable.
They're called the Hurt Business.
Well, the Hurt Business. They had.
I'm not gonna lie, that's a fire name.
Yeah,
the Hurt Business.
Yeah.
We hurt people.
Yeah.
Mark Henry, get your big ass out of retirement. Because I always thought the Hall of Pain should have been a group. It should have been a group called the Hall of Pain. Just a bunch of big black beating everybody up. Hall of Pain. It should have been Crime Time. It should have been Mark Henry and get one little
Black Lives Matter.
Yes, exactly. BLM. Welcome to the Hall of Pain.
So that brings us to the infamous eye for an eye match between Seth Rollins defeating Rey Mysterio So the actual match itself was really good. It was fire. It was wrestled very well.
That seems to be a trend in this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
The matches were really good.
Yeah.
The storylines were weird.
Awful.
It was weird.
So in between this great wrestling, they do these spots where they try to take each other's eye out with with an instrument or whatever. So we get to the end now, and a few weeks ago, what started this entire thing. Seth Rollins put Rey Mysterio's eye on the corner of his steel steps. So he did pretty much the same exact spot for here, but this time somehow his eyeball popped out. Don't worry, it was basically like a marble that they colored to look like an eye. It was weird. Anyway, Seth Rollins now gazes upon himself. Well, at least Rey Mysterio with his eye out. He now gets sick and starts to throw up all over the floor. This was an extremely bizarre match. There's no real way around it. I don't want to see it again.
Why did he throw up? I don't know why. Because I've seen more intense matches.
But my thing
why did he throw up?
you signed the match, so you knew somebody had to have an eye out.
Oh, he threw up because his eye was out.
Right.
I didn't understand that when he started throwing up. I just didn't get it. So hold on. So this diabolical man,
Yes.
who wanted the eye for 9 match,
Yes.
who knew he was gonna have to pull somebody's eye out
I think the
socket.
stipulation was Rey Mysterio made the stipulation, so he just signed up.
So, but Seth Rollins, you okayed this.
Yep.
You knew coming into this match you was gonna have to pull somebody's eye out.
Yeah.
Then you did it and you threw up.
Yeah.
Right.
This is.
It makes. Here's my thing that I don't understand about WWE. I don't understand this. You're making bad guys, right? Why would the bad guy throw up?
Yeah.
You're supposed to pull his fucking eye out and then throw the fake eyeball in the crowd.
Yeah. He should be proud of his work.
Eat it or something. Like, you are a diabolical man.
Anyway, after the match, they kept it open because in real life now, Rey Mysterio's in the middle of contract negotiations. He's actually hasn't had a contract for a few months now. They've just been basically on a handshake agreement. So they're trying to iron out a contract. It looks like he's going to stick around with WWE. I mean, he could always go to AEW.
I mean, he lost his eye for the company.
Yeah. He could always go to AEW, New Japan, Impact, whatever.
Why would they take him? He doesn't have an eye.
But I think he's looking out for the best interest.
How can he look out for his best interest? He doesn't have an eye.
Of his son, Dominic.
Word.
So he doesn't want to burn that WWE bridge, which makes sense.
I would. They put me in a match where I had lost my eye.
So hopefully Rey Mysterio will have a quick recovery once he signs that contract.
Yeah. What is the recovery time on losing a f***ing eye? What is that? 3 to 6 weeks?
Once you sign a contract.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And then your eye's magically repaired.
So that brings us to...
You know, once an eye pops out, it always pops out, right? How are we going to explain this? Is he going to have a glass eye? Is he going to have a contact in that eye for the rest of his life?
I don't write it. I don't even like to watch it.
Please, somebody explain to me how we are going to communicate this story going forward. We just pop some bitch back in and it works like a regular eye?
Anyway, the next match ended up being a no contest between Sasha Banks and Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. This was another match that was well wrestled, actually really well wrestled.
Probably the best match on the card.
It might be the best match on the card.
Best match on the card.
And then we got an ending that was kind of interesting. So Asuka comes in and she mistakenly sprays green mist into the referee's face. Right in his face.
Burning.
Right. So
in his eyes.
His
which
face
Rey
is burning.
Mysterio doesn't have one of anymore.
So obviously his face is burning.
Yup.
And Bayley,
better than Rey Mysterio.
who was outside, then decides to strip the referee's shirt off, put it on herself, and then... Oh, well, she also hit Asuka with one of the... They have like 16 different championship belts. Well, one of those belts in the back of the head. And then she counted the pin for Sasha on Asuka, which ended up... It's not a real thing. I don't know.
Which is hilarious, because she just said, basically, when you put a referee shirt on,
it
activates a referee powers.
Yeah, you are the referee, yes.
That shirt has magical powers. You should probably put it over Rey Mysterio's face.
Anyway, it looks like this was done because their ratings, like in our first topic,
hella trash,
have plummeted, so they decided
trash.
So they want to put pay-per-view level matches on Raw and SmackDown to try to boost ratings. They're also neglecting the fact that their storylines are just not good.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
A man's eyeball was in his hand.
They keep doing all these things to try to pop a rating. It's not about that. Just write better shows.
That's it.
That's the only solution.
That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what sport never had an eyeball pop out?
No.
The UFC.
Yeah.
And they literally beat people to death.
Yeah.
To death. I seen a man get beat to the point where I was like, oh, he's dead. But his eye never came out.
See, the problem with WWE also is like they constantly it's like they try to push you to the level of like, how stupid are you? Let's see how stupid our fans are. It's like, I'm not that stupid. This is really insulting. I don't want to watch this. And that's what the eye for an eye ending match was. That's what the no contest in the Raw match was. And another match coming up later wasn't kind of insulting to intelligence. But yeah.
Is that the swamp?
Yes.
Okay. Because I didn't see the swamp on this list.
Yeah, I forgot to...
I thought you were just going to be like, F it.
No. So, yeah, we had a no contest. supposed to have a rematch on Raw. I don't know if that happened or not. But
no, it didn't.
It didn't.
What happened on Raw was they came out. Asuka basically, it was going to be Kairi Sane, I think, versus Bayley. That match actually did happen. I think Kairi Sane won.
Kairi Sane beat Bayley.
Yeah.
And it's also Kairi Sane's last day with the WWE, so she's going back to not New Japan, but Japan. Yeah. She's going back home.
But what basically happened was, but they're saying now, actually, reports are saying that she may not go back. This may not be her last match. She may stay around for the duration of the storyline.
Yeah.
Because
it might be Asuka versus Kairi.
Yeah, because she asked for a dream match with Asuka, I think on Raw Talk or something.
Yeah. So it looks like they might have one at SummerSlam or something.
Yeah.
Which would be cool.
Which I'm not going to lie, if you're WWE and you're looking at all these people leaving, and you got a dynamic person in Kairi Sane, and you come to your senses and you go, I have not been using this person properly, you give this chick what she wants. If she wants to fight Asuka, let her fight Asuka. She wants, And if she somehow pulls out winning that belt to keep there, I think
she's a top 10 female wrestler in the world.
And she has the best fucking elbow drop in the business. Not one of the best. Yeah. The best elbow in the business.
Because I've never seen, I've seen good, like Shawn Michaels and Macho Man have good elbow drops. But like hers is, she'll jump straight up in the air and then come down elbow first before her body even comes down. So it looks really, really painful. But we'll see how that turns out. That takes us to our WWE Championship match.
That takes us to a phone call that I'm going to have the audience go through.
I didn't know, my bad.
Yeah, can you stop calling me, please?
No, you didn't text me.
Yeah, say hi to the rest of Planet Earth. You are now on the podcast.
Hello.
This is my girlfriend, Shayla. What do you think about wrestling? All right, cool. Do you have any... What's your favorite wrestling move?
The sleeper.
I don't know. The one you do all the time.
Stink face.
That's sex. All right, bye, babe.
Anyway, that brings us to the WWE Championship match between champion Drew McIntyre versus Dolph, with a new Raw superstar, Dolph, in a one-way Extreme Rules match. So Dolph was able to make his own stipulation for this match, and it was kind of genius.
It actually was the best fucking stipulation make by any person on planet Earth, because me and Jesse been fans of wrestling for a long time, as we always say on these shows, and the only issue we always have is when you have the power to make a stipulation, the stipulation should be, I get to shoot you in the chest.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Somewhere you clearly have a distinct advantage, because everything else is just fan service. Like, oh, I challenge you to a Hell in a Cell. Why would you want to put yourself through that? Dolph Ziggler came out like every human on planet Earth would do and said, I challenge you to an Extreme Rules match where it's only me being able to do extreme shit. Yeah. You gotta do regular stuff.
Right.
But I can beat your ass in the chair.
If you get counted out, if you get disqualified, if you decide to walk off, or whatever it is, you lose the belt.
Yeah. But if I smack you in the head with a chair,
I can hit you over and over the head like the Fiend.
And just kill you. I can kill you in the ring, and it'll be awesome because it's totally legal. Because you're an idiot. Why would you let me create stipulations?
Anyway.
Before we say anything, I've always had the problem with that. Challengers should never be able to create stipulations. You won the championship. You fought and did everything that you're supposed to do.
Right.
If anybody has the right to create a stipulation, it's you.
Should be the champion.
Which, we're going to get into this match, and I'll say what happened.
So, it was a well wrestled match.
Another great match.
Yeah. Like, that's the story of this night. It was the in-ring work. The actual in-ring work was really, really good.
This storyline wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't believable because Dolph has been in the same place for the first 10, 12 years
Dolph,
or whatever.
We need you to get in there. What you want me to do, lose? Yeah, we need to get in there, take this L.
Anyway, yeah. So he had all the advantages in the world and still ended up on the wrong side of the victory.
But he ended up on the wrong side of the victory with an amazing looking Claymore King.
So yeah, Drew McIntyre did a pop-up Claymore where he basically he kipped up and then gave him a Claymore.
Out of him.
It was amazing.
dude, he's one of the most agile big people. He's a huge man. Like, every time I look at Drew McIntyre,
He's so large.
because even back old Drew, I'm
Yeah.
talking about like the skinny.
He was large and skinny.
Still was large, but he was like skinny.
Yeah.
Now he put muscle mass onto a frame that was already
Big, yeah.
big. He's a huge man.
Yeah.
I imagine that sex with him requires you bringing like EMTs.
I don't even think he could get shot for real. I really think like bullets just bounce off his chest. That pow! I was like, oh wow, that's itchy.
Claymore, say less.
Right.
That shit is hard as I'm sorry. I'm from Brooklyn, son. Say less. Yes, fam.
So that good match was followed by an interesting segment. I don't know if I'm gonna call it a match. They call it a Bray Wyatt
before
swamp
we get
match.
there, I was gonna say what happened on Raw because Drew McIntyre now gets to make the stipulation in a rematch,
Right.
Which they're having a rematch for no reason because he beat you clean.
No, he didn't just beat you. He beat you when you had all of the advantages. So what would be the point of seeing a rematch to that? That's like if you watch a boxing match and then the guy with one arm tied behind his back won. And then you got a rematch when he has both his arms.
And he was the champ.
You're right.
No wonder when they're the champ. I can understand if it's vice versa. If Dolph came in this match the champ,
Right.
he had all the advantages. Drew beat him clean, right? At least you're out to getting a rematch.
He had all the advantages. Yeah.
No, not just that, but
Oh, you mean-
I was a champion.
Right.
I could get my rematch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even though you got washed,
Right.
you still
I'm still
entitled to my rematch,
Right.
right? In this, you was the challenger.
Mm-hmm.
You got washed with everything stacked against the person who you were facing,
Right.
and then you come back on TV and kind of beg for a their treatment of Dolph Ziggler. He is the weakest built character in that company.
He's such a good wrestler, and they've done so little with him.
Because
over the
Vince
years.
believes that when you're a good wrestler, he can put you through anything and you come out unscathed.
That's too bad. But yeah, let's say they're continuing this. I don't know why, but they are. So this brings us to from the WWE Championship to the Universal Championship match between Bray Wyatt and the champion Braun Strowman in a Bray Wyatt swamp match. So this was another cinematic offering during the quarantine time.
Yes. I do believe that we should get a cinematic match every pay-per-view.
Yeah, that makes sense. If it's good,
quarantine.
if it's good, it has to be good.
I think the Boneyard was the standard.
That was good. John Cena match
Was
with
good.
Bray Wyatt was
Was
good. I like that.
That
one.
was both in the same. That was in the same WrestleMania. That was WrestleMania.
Yeah. I think what was it?
I think one was day one and then one was day two.
Well, that wasn't the Stampede. Well, it was kind of. Well, it was the Stadium Stampede match was kind of cinematic. They had cinematic.
Well, yeah, it's cinematic in the aspect of I think it was cinematic because they shot it with takes.
Right.
It wasn't like a wrestling match where it just runs through.
Right.
So I would.
And they had scenes in it.
Yeah, I would consider that a cinematic.
So yeah,
match.
that was pretty good.
Which honestly, I have to say, the way I rank them so far, I think the John Cena Bray Wyatt is number one.
Mm.
The Stampede and the Boneyard is like
neck
very
and neck,
neck and neck to me. And then there's 50 feet of shit, and then there's this.
Yeah, like Gargano and Ciampa was okay. It wasn't.
Gargano and Ciampa had a cinematic
They
match.
did. Where? Oh, you didn't see this?
No, it did not.
Yes. So, well, we'll talk about it some other time. But yeah, they had a cinematic match where this is where they started to turn for Gargano and his wife Candice.
Oh, I had stopped really watching wrestling at that point.
Right. So
It was like at the beginning of COVID.
So Candice,
Okay.
Candice gave Ciampa a low blow, and then it basically went from there. So the Swamp match, it was, in a word, awful. It started out with Braun going to, I guess, a swamp to find Bray, and then there's a lot that went on in this. I felt like I was on acid watching it.
You know what the best part of this match was? The promo on SmackDown.
Yeah.
When Bray was like, not Bray, Braun was going crazy.
Yeah.
And he was like, I gotta go to the swamp. I gotta find him because I gotta make sure he doesn't become the Fiend again. Because he made the Fiend sound like it was a scary monster that I need to be scared of. Which, I mean, I'm not scared of it. Honestly, my friend said it best. He said, if the Fiend showed up outside my house, I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Right.
If the Fiend showed up inside a ring, not that scared.
No.
I can beat him.
Right.
I could beat Bray Wyatt in a ring anytime.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
They never book him strong.
Inside a ring, Bray Wyatt, whichever iteration it is, the cult leader, Roy Rogers. I said Roy Rogers.
Currently, we have 3 different Bray Wyatts going on. They have the classic Bray Wyatt that had this one match. You have the Funhouse Bray Wyatt, and you have the Fiend Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, all of them inside of a ring. I can beat him.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff went on.
Because a 50-year-old man beat the Fiend. Just let's just put that out there, just in case you think that the Fiend doesn't take losses. A 50-year-old man who couldn't pick up the Undertaker for a proper jackhammer, he beat the Fiend like he was a baby back.
So currently we have, in this match we had Braun fighting himself. We had Braun wrapped up in chains. He couldn't escape, which looked preposterous.
Yeah.
Because he's a strong and big man. And
this is also a man who flipped over several semi-trucks.
Yeah, and he was also...
But he can't get out of chains.
He was stuck out in a rocking chair with chains on. We had what looked like a Sister Abigail, but really was Alexa Bliss, which was a take on Mixed Match Challenge from a few years ago, which nobody watched. So it was a weird reference.
Look, I just want to delve into that for a second, because you said something off air that WWE expects us to forget things, but then remember obscure shit.
Yeah.
So we're supposed to forget that the
things that happened like 2 weeks ago.
We're supposed to forget that the Fiend got beat by old Goldberg, right?
Yeah. Forget about that.
Right? But we're supposed to remember this Mixed Match Challenge bullshit that you improperly promoted. Yeah. And that's why you put a reference in there. I don't get it. And then also, it's like, but in the same match, you're asking us to forget that Braun Strowman has lifted over several semi-trucks. He flipped over an ambulance with a man in it. He's literally lifted up Titantron, right? Whatever the we call this thing now.
Yeah.
Right?
A big steel structure, whatever that was.
Yes. But then you put him in a wooden fucking chair with some chains. He's immobilized. I'm immobilized. I can't do nothing. What about the world? Here's what I want to say. You know what I figured out? This is the storyline, Jesse. Sorry to cut you off. I have to tell you this thought that I just had. This thought is this. The Universal Championship, once you adorn it upon your shoulder or your waist, it makes you weaker.
Apparently.
Finn Balor?
He lost it in one day.
Lost it in one day. He whole shoulder reconstruction. Yeah. Seth Rollins?
Kevin Owens was decent, and then...
Nope. Remember, he got beat by Goldberg.
Oh, yeah, Goldberg. Yeah,
he got beat by Goldberg.
In like 2 seconds.
Yeah. No matter what happens, you are going to look like it. Once you get that Universal Championship, didn't Roman Reigns get it? Roman Reigns got the championship?
Yeah, for
Cancer.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Something about that championship is cursed. Braun Strowman got it. We're from flipping over Mack trucks to getting stuck in a wooden chair.
So this match ends with they're over by the swamp, and there's like a little boardwalk area, and Braun ends up pretty much kicking Bray Wyatt directly in the chest, and then Bray Wyatt falls into the water, and it looks like it's ending, and Braun Strowman says, well, it's over, and then the title card comes up, it even fades to black, and all of a sudden a second later the lights come back on, and you see the hand of Bray Wyatt pull Braun into the water. Then they have a back and forth, and then Bray's trying to get out of the water. I think Braun's trying to get out of the water too. And then all of a sudden things change, and the water turns red, and then the Fiend comes up. So Braun Strowman is dead. Apparently, Braun Strowman is a dead person. This is also a non-title match. I'm sorry.
It was?
It was a non-title match. So I'm guessing because Braun Strowman is dead that he lost the match. I don't know if a dead person could win a match, but I'm assuming since he's now a dead person, he lost that non-title match. So we'll see if we'll have a rematch at SummerSlam with The Fiend and Braun Strowman's corpse.
You know Braun Strowman's just going to show up on SmackDown, right?
Yes.
That's what's going to happen.
I mean, you look at AJ Styles. AJ Styles was also dead.
I need to iterate this to the fans on this show. Jesse looks so sad just now because the realization that we just watched a man get drowned, and he's just gonna show up on SmackDown. That's our world champion.
Yes.
Our world champion is dead.
AJ Styles was also dead this year.
Yeah, he was.
And we just, he figured out how to breathe underground. The match and the card just ends. I didn't know how to feel about it, but overall, I think
let's rate. You want to rate these matches?
Yeah, we can rate these. It's a mixed bag for me. So Kevin Owens, Buddy Murphy, I give it a solid 6. You know, it wasn't bad. It wasn't.
Is it out of 10 or out of 5?
We're doing 5 out of 5, right? So let's do 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5? No, sorry. Yeah, 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5? I'll agree with that. I'll agree.
Cesaro, Shinsuke, and New Day, I'll give that a solid 3.8. It was.
I was gonna give it a 4.
I give it a 4. That's decent.
4. For a professional.
So, Bailey and Nikki Cross, I give it a 3.0, 3.2.
See, I graded a little low. I put 2.9.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad match. It wasn't poorly wrestled. They didn't have any botches.
I put 2.9 because it's like average.
Right.
Like to me, 2.5 is like average.
Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio. That's interesting.
Oh no, I'm gonna grade MVP.
The segment?
Yes, I'm gonna grade it.
What are you gonna grade the segment?
I'm gonna give it a 6.2
out of 5.
Yes, because COVID is undefeated.
So Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio. I'll give that. It's tough because it was so well wrestled, but the ending was so trash.
Man, that belt is beautiful. I'm sorry, that belt's beautiful. I'm giving the belt a 6.5. That's a beautiful championship.
I'll give Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio 2.8.
2.8?
Yeah. It just the ending just took so much out of it.
Alright, I will say this. Before the ending, they were on pace for like a 4.6.
Yeah.
Then like the eyeball and the throwing up, I was like, so I'm gonna separate it for them. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go the meat of the match, you get a 4.5 in my book. The ending gets a negative 2.
Yeah, that's what it went.
So
down
yeah. So yeah,
like
I understand it now.
Yeah, like
but I gotta separate. I want y'all to know the work rate was amazing.
Yeah, it was great.
But throwing up in the eyeball.
If you watch this match, just watch up until the end.
Yeah. Once Seth Rollins. See, that's a type of understanding. Like if the lights of the arena would have went crazy, and then like they came with some bullshit where Rey Mysterio was able to escape, but Seth Rollins still won the match. Right. I'd have accepted that because I don't.
Well, apparently they had some type of graphic that they were going to use for the end of the Eye for an Eye match, and Vince saw it and wasn't like a big fan of it, so they decided to do the whole marble thing. I
wonder what the graphic.
I want to see the graphic.
I do too.
Yeah, so I'll give that 2.8. Sasha Banks and Asuka wrestled to a no contest. I give that a 4.1. If it wasn't for the ending, it would be a lot higher.
Yes, and solely because there wasn't throwing up and eyeballs coming out.
Right.
I feel like this match was the best match on the card.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess a 4.1 would coincide with that. Drew McIntyre and Dolph, I give it a 3.3.
I give it a 3.6. I give it extra points just because Dolph did what every
that was a pretty smart
7-year-old thinks to do.
They're pretty smart.
I was just smacking with it.
And so this comes to the Swamp match. I'm giving this a 1. I think the one is the lowest we can get. So yeah, 1 is what we're getting.
That's the lowest we can go?
Yeah.
Damn.
1 to 5.
Because I was gonna nothing. I hate this match.
It sucked. It really sucked.
I don't like it. You know what makes me hate it more? If the Fiend was better built, I'd have probably gave it a 3.
So overall, this probably averaged around, I don't know, like a 3-ish. Like a early,
call the show that
like an early 3s.
Because that's how I feel like the booking was.
Yeah.
The booking was, what do y'all want to do tonight?
Right.
Whatever. One nigga's gonna throw up. One nigga's gonna lose an eye. The other nigga's gonna declare himself champion. Some other chick is going to take off some referee shirt, activate referee powers, and count her friend as the champion.
Right.
Some other nigga's gonna be like, well, this one was smart, but he's gonna be like, I get to do whatever I want, and you can't do nothing, fam, and I'm gonna whip your ass. And then, like,
the Swamp match.
I'm gonna kill somebody in a f***ing lake.
Yeah, yes.
And somehow they're going to have to show up because they're still a Universal Champion.
Right. So this card is problematic.
Yeah.
I'd say it probably averaged around the 3.1-ish.
Honestly,
Maybe a little bit
I
more.
might change it.
What?
I might say the best match on this card was actually Cesaro and Shinsuke versus New Day. Because there was no gimmicks, there was no
Well,
nothing.
the gimmick of the table.
But that's a regular.
Right.
We're used to that.
Right.
Compared to swamp matches, that's normal as
Right.
I might say that was the best match for me. Yeah, I changed my mind. There you go. New black people in charge. Let's get it.
So yeah, coming off of that different card, the interesting card, we want to freshen the palate up with some actual good wrestling.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if my nigga would wrestle.
I mean, it's different. It's better. It's better than what we got.
I mean, no, it's a great match.
So we're doing our matches to watch this week. What's yours?
My match, the Izzy McCoy pick of the week.
It's a new theme song.
Taz versus Sabu. Sabu comes in as the FTW champion.
Yep.
And Taz comes in as the ECW World Heavyweight Champion.
Yep.
It's Living Dangerously,
99.
which was solely named after Paul.
Right.
Paulie Dangerously.
Yep.
Sucking his
It
own
was great. Somebody in the front row said, "Paulie, bounce my check." It was great. I love ECW.
Oh my God! Speaking of Paul Heyman, we didn't talk about him at all.
Well, Paul Heyman, he was the subject of recently released Gallows and Anderson. They had a podcast pretty much explaining their whole last year or so in WWE, and they were kind of upset with Paul Heyman because they feel like they lied to him. Allegedly, during COVID, Vince McMahon he asked Bruce Pritchard and Paul Heyman, basically who can we cut and it'll be fine. And allegedly, Paul Heyman put Anderson and Gallows on that list, and they ended up getting cut. Then AJ Styles went to Vince to ask about the cutting, and Vince basically said, I didn't want those guys on the list, but Paul Heyman put them on the list, which is preposterous because if Vince didn't want to fire somebody, it just wouldn't be fired.
Mm-hmm. And more reason why they don't like Paul Heyman is because Paul Heyman apparently, even before COVID, was supposed to be booking them better and just didn't.
Well, that's another thing. Paul, he probably came up with a bunch of ideas, and maybe he wasn't actually trying to lie or lie to him. Mm-hmm. It's just he tries to get what he can get over. He's not going to push it too far because, at the end of the day, it's Vince's decision. So he could say to Vince, I want to push Gallows and Anderson to the moon. I want them to be on a 100-match win streak, win the championships. I want to murder babies. I want all that stuff. And then Vince is like,
I want to murder babies.
Let's have Drew McIntyre beat both of them in the same match. He could just do that. So it's preposterous. Anyway, Taz versus Sabu.
The reason why I wanted to pick this match is because I thought it was timely, considering that Brian Cage is the current FTW champion.
He is.
I don't know if he's still that, right?
He is still the FTW champion.
Yeah, he's the FTW champion.
It wasn't on the line versus Jon Moxley.
It's because it is an illegitimate championship.
Yeah, it's not a real
I think it's the best illegitimate championship
it's
of
really
all
dope.
time.
It's a good idea too.
And because its inception came because
the champion kept
Shane
ducking.
Douglas
Yeah,
at the time.
kept ducking Taz. So. Like,
Taz was like, okay, the world championship. And he already had FTW on his wrist. The world was his motto.
Yep.
So why not have a the world championship?
So we go from one guy in your match who had FTW on his wrist to another guy who had X's on his wrist in my match with CM Punk versus John Cena for the WWE Championship at Money in the Bank 2011. It was just recently the 9th anniversary of this match. CM Punk actually tweeted about it. He tweeted to John Cena too. I remember this match. This came off the heels of the pipe bomb promo by CM Punk. He legitimately had no time left on his contract, and this was legitimately the last date on his contract. So everyone knew if he didn't re-sign, he was probably going to lose the match. And if he did sign, there's a good chance he might win the match because he was so hot. And
he re-signed just before the match, they said.
Yeah.
Like literally just before the match, he signed the contract and went out, was told you're winning the match.
And they didn't announce anything until after, so it was great. They had a great match going back and forth. They teased the Montreal Screwjob with John Laurinaitis and Vince McMahon coming out, and then John Cena stopped that, which he ended up going into a need to face or GTS, and CM Punk wins the championship. Then that night, Money in the Bank, I believe Alberto Del Rio won the Money in the Bank briefcase, and Vince tried to call him out to get the belt back, and CM Punk ended up just kicking him in the head and leaving, and he went home and put the championship in his fridge.
And then he showed up actually at a couple independent
with the WWE Championship,
which was under the guise of WWE's permission.
Right.
But just to further that storyline,
it was a dope idea.
He actually picked his match first, and I picked my match. And the reason why I thought they both kind of resemble each other just because of the nature of the FTW Championship and it being like, if you're going to run from me, I'm going to make my own World Championship. Right. And then eventually that got unified with the ECW Championship. Right. And what then happens in the aftermatch, after your match, is they crown a new WWE champion, which actually it was Rey Mysterio with two eyes.
So
two-eyed Rey.
Man, this podcast really came full circle today. Yeah, it's been a long 2 weeks, and we had a lot to talk about. We're gonna have even more. We'll try not to skip any more weeks. We'll try. We're very busy people. And
I think this podcast was supposed to be actually once every 2 weeks. Yeah. And then we were like, fuck it, we could do every week. And I got really busy. Yeah. This is my fault, guys.
It's summertime. But, yeah.
These chicks want to be in bikinis, and they want me to take photos of them. And who am I to say no?
So yeah, go check out those two matches. All right, guys. Try not to lose your eyes out there. We love you lots.
Yeah.
And we'll probably see you next week.
Yeah, I'll be here sometime in the future.
Please,
I'm supposed to go to DR, which I've never been there. So if you are listening to the show,
don't drink alcohol.
From DR, where could somebody from DR hit us up to let me know about these beautiful places?
Hit us up on Instagram. Welcome Back Wrestling.
Welcome Back Wrestling. I think we also have a Twitter.
We have a Twitter at WB Wrestling Pod.
WB Wrestling Pod, not WB as in WB.
Hit us up on Gmail. Send us an email at welcomebackwrestling@gmail.com.
We have a Gmail?
We have a Gmail.com.
Did you tell me this already?
I think we did.
We have a Gmail account?
We do have a Gmail.
So people can email us?
Yes, people can email us.
Alright, send us emails. What's that email again?
Welcomebackwrestling
at gmail.com. WB Wrestling Pod on Twitter.
Yeah.
And Welcome Back Wrestling on Instagram. Yeah. I got it all right?
Yeah, you did.
Woo! So, and my personal number is 917, just in case you want to send me.
Alright, also don't forget to review us on iTunes. Please rate and subscribe. And we'll see you next week.
Oh, and turn on those notifications. So anytime we drop something, it goes ding, and then you can see it.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave y'all with a song now.
See you next week.